All right, I'm just finishing setting everything up here. Get my stand situated. Sorry for shaking you. Hopefully nobody is motion sick. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. So now I'm just gonna jump over here and pop open my computer so that I can see your comments. And I think we will be good to go. I can actually see comments. We're maybe doing okay so far. Hey, Mom. Are we still going? It just got really quiet. Okay, I think we're good. So, okay, well, I'm going to just chat a few minutes to give a couple other people time to find me. But I really appreciate you being here. So tonight I wanted to do something a little bit different. Usually I use a lot of designer series papers that I really love. I mean, they're beautiful. Hey, Julie. Hi, Aunt Pat. So nice to have you all here. So yeah, usually I just use the Stampin' Up! Designer Series papers, but tonight what I wanted to do is actually show you how to use just one stamp set and a few ink pads to make your own Designer Series paper, which I think is really fun, and it turns out unique every single time, and there are just so many different things you can do with it. So that's what we're going to do, and we are going to use Beautiful Friendship, which I know I've taught classes that use this before, but I just absolutely love it. It's a distinctive stamp set, so it's got a lot of texture as you stamp it rather than just kind of a solid image or an outline image. So this is retiring, which breaks my heart, but you know, there's always more flowers, so at least we have that to look forward to. So that's our focus tonight, but before we get started, I did just have a couple of other things to show you. Let's see. I don't even know what day today is. Today's the 15th. So this is the very last day to order my Vine Design. Well, the way I'm doing this one is if you order the Vine Design bundle on an order with me, then I will send you the kit to make each of these 4 cards. So it's a beautiful bundle. It also will be retiring, I think, at the end of May on this one because it was in the spring mini catalog. So there's that. And then tomorrow is the deadline to sign up for my drive-by stamping. So the drive-by stamping event is actually on May 1st, which is a Saturday. And it's just going to be a come and go stamping event. So you'll order the kit through me, and then it's the You Are Amazing kit. So it comes in this gorgeous box. I know I've shown this to you guys before, but you make 4 different cards, and they are all beautiful. And so there's 4 of each of those designs. So at the drive-by stamping, you'll get to do all of the stamping for this kit. So you don't have to buy the ink or the stamp set. So for friends who are not stampers, it's a really, really great deal. Just because they'll leave with 16 birthday cards from that kit. And they're not all birthday. Let's see. Congratulations and just general thank you. And then I designed 4 other cards using the stamp set that you will also get at the drive-by stamping event. So, I wish you could come 900 miles. That would be awesome. I would probably not let you just drive by though. So anyway, ultimately 20 cards, $45, and you don't have to have any supplies other than adhesive. So this is the stamp set that it uses. And it is also in the mini catalog. So there is that. And again, that deadline is tomorrow. And I think that is it. So with this make your own designer series paper, I have done it with an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper. I have done it with a 12 by 12, and I have also done it with a 6 by 6. And so depending on what size cardstock you are stamping on, you'll have some different options for the card layouts. Tonight I just want to show you a 6x6 just because it's a little quicker, and as fun as it is to watch someone else stamp, it's not the only thing that you guys want to do tonight. So we're just going to start with a piece of 6x6 basic white. And again, that beautiful friendship stamp set. And for this one, I wanted to use the subtle colors. So I have, let's see, Pool Party, Pear Pizzazz, Blushing Bride, and So Saffron. So I like to start with the biggest image, which on this stamp set, I'm going to use this one. There is also, I don't know, I kind of think it's a hydrangea, which are really popular right now, but I just didn't quite want to go with that one for this project. So I'm going to do my largest image in this Blushing Bride. And you just want to, as you're going about this, you'll just stamp in all different directions. You know, just turn your stamp, make sure you re-ink well, and then this is kind of a thing, you know, whenever you're happy with it, you're done. So you don't have to cover all of the white space, or you can choose to cover all the white space, overlap stamps, so there's absolutely no white space. So we're just going to see where we end up with this one. So that is the Blushing Bride. And I think I'm going to go with Pool Party for this image. And I don't know if you can see, it's hard to see these photopolymers, but Pool Party for these little kind of bud flowers. And I'm just going to tuck them in. And if you can see kind of the different, I guess, levels of stamping, I mean, some of the stamp is darker than others, and that's what I was mentioning with the distinctive. So I just think this is something that Stampin' Up! Developed, and it's such a cool technology with the photopolymer stamps, and it just adds a ton that you didn't have to work very hard for, which is nice. Because let's be honest, sometimes you just need a card 5 minutes ago and you don't have time to come up with something with tons of layers and all the other things. So just do a few more of these, and I'm already loving this color combination. So next, I think I'm going to do the So Saffron with, this is kind of just a little branch image. Sometimes I'm good at naming flowers, but not on this one. We were taking a walk today. It snowed and rained and hailed all day long. And finally at about 5, the sun came out, and even though there was still wind out of the north, it was nice enough that I decided we had best get out for a walk, just to try to salvage some of the day. And Jonah, my 7-year-old, was asking what some of the trees were, and I have absolutely no idea. I am not good at identifying trees. I usually do okay with flowers, but trees are a whole different thing. And then the only thing I could think of was live oaks, which when I was in Texas a few weeks ago, we went to Goose Island State Park outside of Rockport, and they have an enormous 1,000-year-old live oak that was really impressive. So that was fun. I'm glad you're liking it so far. It's, you know, this is something that, like I said, it never turns out the same twice. So you just kind of stamp away, and then you can go back and add in some other images. Okay, so here I am going to do, there's 2 different leaf images, and I've got them both mounted on this block. So, you know, we'll see how well I can see through them. But so this is Pear Pizzazz. And I think I mentioned, but all of these are out of the Subtles color family. And I have samples that I'll show you in just a little bit that I did with the Brights and another set that I did with the Regals. And it's amazing how different just the type of color that you're using can make and how this looks. So some of these I'm stamping off. Oh, whoops. So that happens sometimes, and then you just kind of cover it up, and once we chop this, nobody will ever know. I did lose my train of thought, so good thing it probably wasn't that interesting anyway. I have to admit feeling just a little bit frazzled because Joe is at a work thing, so I got to do all of dinner and bath and bed, and Emily thought today was a brilliant day to not nap. And so she was trying to fall apart on me, and I'm just tired, and now my dog's acting crazy, so just never know what's going to happen when you've got kids. So I think, well, we need a few more leaves sort of up in this area. And I did at least decide to not punish myself more than I had to, so we got takeout for dinner again tonight, so that's 2 nights in a row, which I don't usually do, but it just was not feeling like a cooking kind of night. So one of my favorite restaurants here is Cup Bop. It's Korean food, and they just make these bowls for you, and it's rice and glass noodles and cabbage and then a different kind of meat, and then they have different levels of spice in the sauces that they put on it. So I always think it's really good, and I even splurged and got one for the kids to just share so that I could have my own with a little more spice than the little ones can take. So this is just one more kind of rose image I'm just using to fill in some of the white space here. You can overlap colors, but I'm just not always sure what will make it look muddy and what will actually turn out nicely, so I don't do a ton of overlapping. So I think maybe we'll call it good on the pool party. That's starting to kind of take over a little more than I had intended. And maybe what I'll do is clean that little rose stamp and add a little more Blushing Bride in, because I think you always need more pink, right? So we are so close to done with this, and then I will show you how to turn this sheet into 3 cards with 3 different sentiments, and it will just really give you some ideas for how to quickly meet some of those card needs. Okay, I think that'll work. So close up these ink pads for now. I will open them back up for sentiments, but okay, so now the hard part is that we are going to chop this up, and all of the measurements are in my the description of this video, so you can go back and look at the measurements and make the cards, and hopefully I put enough information that you'll be able to replicate it. So for this first one, let's see, I have to look at my sample or we will never get there. So this is 5 1/4, so I'm just going to take off 3/4 of an inch here. I hope that's right. I don't think that's how I want to do this. Let's see. So what I'm eventually getting to is this, and it is 5 1/4 and 3 1-inch strips. So I think what I did, yeah, this is right. So I'm going to cut this here, and I'm just going to set this other piece off to the side. And now I'm just gonna take off 3/4 of an inch of the bottom. And we'll set that piece off to the side, and now I'm going to chop these down into 1-inch pieces. And with this, you do want to keep the pieces in order so that the imagery comes out looking cohesive once you put it all back together on the card. So for this one, I am just going to use a pool party card base. And this one is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. So I always, when it's something like this, you know, it's easy to have them look off, you know, not quite straight or that sort of thing. So we could do them sort of angled a little bit, but I feel like there's not quite enough here. The dimensions aren't quite right to make that work out. So instead, we will just line them up properly, and then I'm gonna start with just this one on the right and use a little bit of Stampin' Seal. So, see how straight we can make this turn out. Especially since the card base is a little bit wonky. I was going through all of Emily's books because she has suddenly decided that tearing books is her favorite pastime. So we took them all out of her room, and I just gave back the board books yesterday, but I came across that silly wonky donkey that her Oma had sent her a few months ago. And just the thought of it makes me laugh. And the word wonky, apparently I use more than I realized, or because of that book, I have started using it. I'm not actually sure which, but it is kind of funny to be reminded of that donkey every time. So, okay, now that I've got the 2 edge pieces on there, we can do the middle piece. And we'll just line that up nicely centered, and we are good to go. So pretty straight, we're gonna call it good. And then I took my Stitched Shapes dies and did the largest in So Saffron, and then the middle in white. And I am going to just grab this Pool Party ink again, and stamping birthdays are the best days, which, if you grew up in my house, Mom always made sure that birthdays were really special. And now, I don't know that I do the same for my kids, but you know, we try. Jonah usually gets to go skiing, so I don't think it really gets much better than that. So I'm just going to adhere this circle to the center of, I'm glad you like that book. I bet your grandkids are liking it too, Pat, because there's just nothing about it that's not to like. Okay, so I pre-tied a sheer ribbon, I think 3/8 inch sheer ribbon in Pool Party, so that you didn't have to watch me fiddle with it too much. And then these are easiest to go on with a glue dot, but I don't see my glue dots, so we're just gonna do it this way. Just a little bit of seal there, and now I think we will pop this up with some dimensionals, and I'm just about out of dimensionals on this sheet too. All right, so kind of the upper center here. And that is our first card. So now that we've got that one taken care of, the next card layout is, we're going to use some Pear Pizzazz cardstock. And I do just want to make sure that the fold is burnished nicely because it really bugs me when my cards don't line up properly. So this is So Saffron DSP, and it's actually coming in the new catalog that goes live on May 4th. And so it's got 2 different patterns, and I think I'm going to use that one, but we will see once I cut this down to sorry, I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I cut this the right way. So I need 2 by 3. Okay. So I don't know if it's that it's spring or what, but I feel like everything needs a bath. I was washing some of my stencils the other day because they'd been piled up on my desk for a while, just waiting for me to get around to it. And I feel like all of my acrylic blocks need to be washed, and I'll be honest, I'm missing a die and it's driving me absolutely crazy. It's not a very big one, so I don't know. I'm scared to take out my trash because I'm afraid that it somehow slid in there and I'll throw the die away. So it's a disaster. But what I did, this is a 2 by 3 inch piece of our printed paper, and then this is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So now looking at this, I think, I actually think I like this better just because it kind of pulls in that sprig piece. So just a little bit of adhesive here, and get this laid on here properly. So this piece is of designer series paper is 2 by 5 1/4. And then I want to, I'm going to stamp this first before I go off and do something very sad. So this sentiment is going to be, so very happy to know you, which is so nice because I think you can use it for so many different things. And so we're just going to do a little bit of tone on tone here, and hope that that goes on straight. That'll do. And now we can stick this this little bit on. So I'm just going to cut up these side pieces of dimensionals. I love seeing all the hearts and thumbs up and everything. Gets kind of lonely on here sometimes when everybody's really quiet. But quiet tonight I could handle. I'm sort of surprised that there's not racket upstairs because my kids know that I'm down here working, but I think maybe they're just both so tired. I'm not sure why. Jonah started soccer this week, so maybe that's what's doing it. So then I'm just going to center this on here. And so our butterfly duet stamp or punch is retiring. And so I wanted to just pull that out and show you how fun it is. So I stamped the larger one in, I keep saying stamped, but I punched the larger one in vellum and then the smaller in So Saffron. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of seal, and any of your adhesives will show through on vellum. So I try to always have something that I can use to hide the adhesive. And I think that will do just nicely. So I also have some rhinestones. Aw, Doug, I'm glad you're here. And I forgot to put rhinestones on the first card, so we'll go ahead and do that now too. This is my little take your pick tool, and it's got little putty that makes it really easy to pick up these things. So we'll just add some bling. And maybe right there. So that is our second card finished. But we're going to come back over here real quick. And I think, so I will tell you, I always try to go odd numbers and in kind of a triangular fashion, but also, and this is kind of silly, but I try to not do both sides of the card, because if you are paying enough attention when you're putting your card in your envelope, even though I know etiquette says there's like a certain way to do it all, if you make sure that nothing real bumpy is across the bottom of your card, so like, I don't have an envelope sitting here, but when you've got, say your address is here and your stamp's up here, as long as down here isn't really bumpy, then it can be processed by the machine, so you don't have to use the non-machinable stamps. So things to think about. All right, we are down to the third card. So this one, I wanted to use some Blushing Bride cardstock. So I took just a regular card base here. So it's your 4 1/4 by 11. And then I cut off 3 1/4 inches here, and it's still just scored at the 5 1/2. So now what I'll do is flip it like this. And I don't know why that piece is a little bit messed up, but that'll be okay. So here is our last big piece of our stamped page. So we will just stick this on here. And this is one of my kind of favorite folds lately. You can run it both ways, whether it's portrait or landscape. But you get, it'll be, you know, you can open it like this, or what I did on the other one was like this. But I actually think that the way this flower imagery works, I don't know, it could go either way. But I used the Scripty embossing folder, which is another one that is retiring, and this is Pear Pizzazz. So I'm just going to stick this on here, and there we go. So the other fun thing that we're going to do here, you know, I said I was missing a die, so I've been looking for it. I sort of cleaned up, and now I can't actually reach any of the things that I use all the time. So I'm just going to mark the 1 1/2, or well, the halfway mark on this with just a teeny tiny little bit of pin. And it's really not going to matter because I'm going to cover that up, so not a big deal. But we're going to mark it on both sides. And then I'm going to take just a regular hole punch and come in and punch a hole there and another one there. So they're mostly directly across from each other. And then this is ribbon that I can't find the end of, but it's some Blushing Bride and gold ribbon that's really pretty. So I don't know why doing it this way makes me think really, really hard, but we're gonna figure it out. So, okay. So then the problem is that I just have a really, really long piece of ribbon, but I'm not sure that I want to mess with all of that running through these holes. So I'll cut it down just a little bit. Measuring all these things is not really my forte. It's a lot easier for me to just make things work and then figure it out later when I'm trying to write the tutorials or whatever. All right, so now, so what I did was from the bottom, run it up so it looks like that on the back side. And now I'm just going to carry this around and tie, hopefully, a bow. So this ribbon I was trying to tie earlier to make it to where the bow showed all the same side of the ribbon, and I am just not that good. So I'm actually thinking that I kind of just liking it like that. And we're gonna forego the actual bow part of this one. So we'll just knot it so that we're sure it won't come undone. And it's just really pretty how it is gold on the one side. Okay, so next thing that we're gonna do is just put some dimensionals on just the top part because we don't want to stick this all closed. So I'm just kind of marking with my finger where that line is, and then finish this off. I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I really like using dimensionals and other times I just don't. I feel like they make mailing complicated. So anyway, today's a dimensional kind of day. So we will put this just right on there. Sorry, I pull it down so I can see to make sure I line things up, and then I realize you can't see. But I think that's good. So the one thing that I forgot was just another piece of basic white. And I actually like to keep, I call them card liners, but they're 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, already pre-cut so that they just go nicely in a card when I'm ready to do that. So for this one, the sentiment that I wanted to use is somewhere. I wonder if I took it off. Yep. All right. I haven't cleaned any of my stamps yet, so I'll go back and do that later. So this sentiment says, a very big congratulations and best wishes to you, which sounds like it could be wedding, but it could also be graduation, or it could honestly be like 40th birthday or whatever you want it to be. So, all right. So I'm just going to ink this up in Blushing Bride. And I do want this to be just right at the very bottom so that it will show when the card is closed. So there is that. And now we'll just get a little more seal. And I have finally, this is sort of embarrassing to admit, but just finally figured out how, like, what motion to use with that little tape runner to get it to break the tape without wasting a bunch. So, all right, so that shows when it's closed, and then when you open it, oh, and look at that, you can see my dimensionals, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Okay, so then the last thing that we need to do is just throw a few more rhinestones on here. And I just love that these come with adhesive on the back, so you just don't have to fiddle with all the glue dots and everything. And I think gold, like the gold gems would look really nice on this too, just because of that ribbon, but I am pretty happy with that. So now that we are done with a 6x6 piece of our own designer series paper and 3 cards from it, I'm going to bring them all back in if I can find them, which shouldn't be that hard, but you know, you should see my desk. It looks like a war zone. Okay, so here are the 3 that we made tonight. And they're all just really bright floral spring. I don't know, I kind of love them. And then in getting ready for tonight, I did 3 with the Regals colors. And so I'm just gonna kind of overlay here so you can see this is very same layouts on all of them, but just a completely different look, which I just love. I think it's so cool that you can get so much out of this one stamp set. And then where I came up with this a couple of years ago now, I can't believe it's been that long, but when this stamp set first came out, we did a 12 by 12 sheet in a training I was doing. And so that certainly gives you a lot more of the printed paper to work with. But we just had all of these cards that we made from it. So I can't even get them all on the screen. But they just turned out beautifully. And these are what I was referring to, the brights colors. Gorgeous Grape and Daffodil Delight and maybe some Melon Mambo. I'm not sure which pink we used. Maybe, oh no, it's Flirty Flamingo. So anyway, so that gives you some inspiration for how to make your own printed paper, a bunch of different card layouts. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm so glad that you were all here. I really appreciate it. If you could like and share, that gets more people seeing my videos so that I can keep doing this. And I'm also going to upload it to YouTube. And I think that is really all I have for tonight. So thanks again for being here. And you guys just look forward to seeing me next week. If you have any requests or ideas, I would love to hear them. You can always text me, message me on Facebook, whatever you want to do, and I will do my best to accommodate those wishes. So thank you so much. You guys take care. Bye.